Hello once again, my brothers and sisters. Here we are again for another Living Hope Today study. I want to welcome you. And today we're in Numbers chapter 3. It's a really long chapter, but it has one main theme. And here it is. You remember yesterday we talked about the arrangement of the 12 tribes around the tabernacle. And in that discussion, we talked about how those four little squares with L in them stood for the Levite tribes. Okay, well, today in chapter 3, the Lord wants to specify what happens in each of those locations around the tabernacle. So that's the main topic today as he further delineates the structure of the camp with him, the Lord himself, in the tabernacle being at the center of the whole community. So what do we see? This is the account of the family of Aaron and Moses. Those are both from the tribe of Levi. They're the ones that have been designated to be the priests, right? From the family of Aaron and Moses, at the time the Lord talked with Moses on Mount Sinai, so they're still in the desert. The names of the sons of Aaron were Nadab, the firstborn, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Now you remember, well, I think it's going to tell us, those were the names of Aaron's sons, anointed priests, who were ordained to serve as priests. Nadab and Abihu, however, fell dead before the Lord when they made an offering with unauthorized fire. You remember they came to the Lord with their own idea of how they were going to worship him, and the Lord said, no, that's not it, you're dead. And so Aaron lost two of his sons. They had no sons, so only Eleazar and Ithamar served as priests during the lifetime of their father Aaron. Okay, so we have two of Aaron's sons that are working as priests during the time of Aaron's life. The Lord said to Moses, bring the tribe of Levi and present them to Aaron, the priest, to assist him. They are to perform duties for him and for the whole community at the tent of meeting by doing the work of the tabernacle. Okay, to be a priest in the Old Testament was basically to be a butcher. You're killing animals all the time to shed their blood, to offer burnt offerings and atonement sacrifices, these kinds of things, as we've discussed earlier. In the end, God says, I want this one tribe, the tribe of Levi, to be the tribe that serves me at the tabernacle. They are to take care of all the furnishings of the tent of meeting, fulfilling the obligations of the Israelites by doing the work of the tabernacle. Give the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They are the Israelites who are to be given wholly to him. Okay, so the tribe of Levi now comes under the discipline and under the direction of the high priest, who is Aaron. Appoint Aaron and his sons to serve as priests, and anyone else who approaches the sanctuary must be put to death. So God's really strict about this. We're not just going to take anybody. We're going to train the ones we've called to be priests, and they're going to serve that function, and nobody else. All right? The Lord also said to Moses, again, verse 11, excuse me, we're told that this is God himself speaking. I have taken the Levites from among the Israelites in place of the first male offspring of every Israelite woman. The Levites are mine. Okay? Set apart to serve the Lord. For all the firstborn are mine. When I struck down all the firstborn in Egypt, I set apart for myself every firstborn in Israel, whether man or animal. They are to be mine. I am the Lord. You recall that from the book of Exodus, I hope. The Lord said to Moses in the desert of Sinai, count the Levites by their families and clans. Count every male a month old or more. Now, we're not counting them to serve in the army, as we had counted the other men in the other tribes. Now, every male that's a month old or more is to be counted. So Moses counted them as he was commanded by the word of the Lord. So another census. These were the names of the sons of Levi. Okay, we have Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. These were the names of the Gershonite clans, Libni and Shimei. The Kohathite clans, Amram, Ishar, Hebron, and Uzziel. The Merarite clans. Okay, wait, so we got the Gershonites, we got the Kohathites, we got the Merarites Mali and Mushi. These were the Levite clans according to their families. Okay, so these are the descendants of Levi, not necessarily the descendants of Aaron. Okay, Levi was a long time ago. They've been multiplying for 400 years, right? So now there's many people that have descended from Levi. Okay, so these three groups are brought out specifically. To Gershon belonged the clans of the Libnites, the Shimeites, and these were the Gershonite clans. The number of all the males a month old or more who were counted was 7,500. Okay, the Gershonite clans were to camp on the west, behind the tabernacle. The leader of the families of the Gershonites was Eliasaph, son of Lael. At the tent of meeting, the Gershonites were responsible. So now we know where they're going to be. And now we're being told what they're going to be responsible for. They're responsible for the care of the tabernacle and the tent, its coverings, the curtain, the entrance to the tent of meeting. At the entrance to the tent of meeting, okay, these are the things you're in charge of, Gershonites. The curtains of the courtyard, the curtain at the entrance to the courtyard surrounding the tabernacle and altar, and the ropes and everything related to their use. Okay, Gershonites on the west. The Kohathites, they belong to the clans of the Amramites, Isharites, Hebronites, and Uzzielites. These were the Kohathite clans. The number of the males a month old or more was 8,600. Here we go. The Kohathites were responsible for the care of the sanctuary. The Kohathite clans were to camp on the south side of the tabernacle. The leader of the families of the Kohathite clans was Elizaphan, son of Uzziel. All right, God is very specific about who is involved, who's leading, where they are to be. They were responsible for the care of the ark, the table, the lampstand, the altars, articles of the sanctuary used in ministering, the curtain, and everything related to their use. The chief leader of the Levites was Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest. All right, he was appointed over those who were responsible for the care of the sanctuary. Okay, there's another one here. To Merari belonged the clans of the Malites and the Mushites. These were the Merarite clans. I got it, I think. The number of all the males a month old or more who were counted was 6,200. So now we have a third clan being talked about, Merari. Okay. The leader of the families of the Merarite clans was Zuriel, son of Abihail. They were to camp on the north side. All right, so we're surrounding the tabernacle little by little. The north side of the tabernacle. The Merarites were appointed to take care of the frames of the tabernacle, its crossbars, posts, bases, all its equipment, and everything related to their use, as well as the posts of the surrounding courtyard with their bases, tent pegs, and ropes. All right, so we see that God has tremendous organization here. But remember, while you're listening to all this and you think, wow, what is this all about? This whole outfit is preparing to pack up and start moving as God leads them. All right, so God is instituting order, as we saw yesterday, specific instructions, specific locations. We're going to march, and when we go, this is where you belong. This is where your tribe needs to be. This is where the tabernacle that's been packed up needs to go in the caravan that's moving out. These are the instructions God's giving. So now he gets to the fourth group. Moses and Aaron and his sons were to camp to the east of the tabernacle. Now we've made it all the way around, right? Toward the sunrise in front of the tent of meeting. They were responsible for the care of the sanctuary on behalf of the Israelites. Anyone else who approached the sanctuary was to be put to death. We've heard that before. God's really strict. Notice that Moses and Aaron are responsible basically for the whole operation to make sure that everything runs as God has decreed it to run. The total number of Levites counted at the Lord's command by Moses and Aaron according to their clans, including every male a month old or more, was 22,000. So we have 22,000 males around the tabernacle, west, south, and north, and east. All right. The Lord said to Moses, count all the firstborn Israelite males who are a month old or more and make a list of their names. Okay, so now we're branching out to the whole community. There's 22,000 Levites, but now we're going to count all the males that are firstborn and a month old or more. Take the Levites for me in place of all the firstborn of the Israelites, and the livestock of the Levites in place of all the firstborn of the livestock of the Israelites. I am the Lord. What's happening here? God is saying, look, I'm going to take from the 22,000 Levites, well, there's quite a few more if you count women and children. I'm going to take from them instead of the firstborn of the whole community. I'm shifting to say that the firstborn of the Levites are the ones that belong to me. All right? So Moses counted all the firstborn of the Israelites as the Lord commanded him. We're looking at those who were born first, just like in Egypt, the firstborn were spared when the angel of death came through if the blood of the lamb was on the doorpost. And now we read the total number of firstborn males a month old or more listed by name was 22,273. Notice the precision of these census. I mean, it's so clear that God is writing historical fact here. He is not writing some sort of fictional novel. There's nothing about there was about so many. No, we're given an exact number. Now the Lord gives more instruction in verse 44. Take the Levites in place of all the firstborn of Israel and the livestock of the Levites in place of their livestock. You need to see this. The Levites are to be mine. There it is. The Levites are to be mine. So God has set apart the tribe of Levi, specifically now as time has passed. We're looking at those who minister at the tabernacle, and God has said, this group of people belong to me. All right? Then we go from there to read about redemption a little bit, to redeem the 273 firstborn Israelites who exceed the number of the Levites. Okay, what are we talking about? Well, remember that number was 22,273. So now we're talking about that remainder. All right, collect 5 shekels for each one according to the sanctuary shekel, which weighs 20 gerahs. Give the money for the redemption of the additional Israelites to Aaron and his sons. So Moses collected the redemption money from those who exceeded the number redeemed by the Levites. From the firstborn of the Israelites, he collected silver weighing 1,365 shekels according to the sanctuary shekel. And the last verse, Moses gave the redemption money to Aaron and his sons as he was commanded by the word of the Lord. So I know this is just a ton of information, a bunch of names, a bunch of directions. Let me help you break it down. Remember, we had the tabernacle in the center of the camp yesterday. We had all the nations surrounding the tabernacle, but now we're going to zoom in to just look at the Levite tribes around the tabernacle. You remember the Gershonites, led by Eliasaph. They are on the west end. They're in charge of the tabernacle, the tent, the coverings, the curtain of the entrance to the tent of meeting, curtains of the courtyard, and the ropes. Then we were told about the Kohathites. You can read that for yourself, but that's what they're in charge of. Then the Merarites are on the north end of the tabernacle, and then Moses, Aaron, and Aaron's sons are on the east end of the tabernacle. They care for the whole package. What you need to remember about this is when it's time to go, everything moves to the east. So as they march out, they will continue to be surrounding that tabernacle, and the tribes will go out like we talked about yesterday. In the end, Numbers chapter 3 is another collection of instructions based on numbering one particular tribe and designating the duties of one particular tribe. God says, those Levites are mine. They belong to me. It's interesting to see how God structures his people so specifically, so meticulously. In fact, to do something other than what God has said is to lead yourself to your own death. He wants the Levites alone to be the ones that minister to him in the tabernacle. Fascinating. Well, guess what? As we move forward in the book of Numbers, I think we're about to hit some dissension. Can you believe it? Somebody's not going to like how things are going, but we'll save that for next time. God bless you, church. Serve him well today.
Who is it who for sinners shed his blood, and now for cleansing all can plunge beneath that flood? It's Jesus. But do you know who he is? He's the image of the invisible God, and he's the brightness of his glory, the first, the last, the future, the past. He is God.